All right, man. You got your chains out and stuff. You got to flex on the fam like that,
Bro, this is nothing. This is like some $40
crazy,
chain,
man.
What you mean?
That's crazy, bro.
Man,
Is episode 4
you really gotta like this dude be starting the pod
in the building, bro.
When his partner not
in the building, bro.
We
What we wish we knew about sex.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I took this whole title from the Perry's podcast. I'm not even gonna cap. I don't even care. I said it.
You did.
Uh-huh.
You did.
Before we get into that topic, though, how you been, bro?
I've been good. I think it's gonna be an interesting topic.
No.
It is gonna be interesting, but
bro, no. How you been, bro?
I've been
Why
good.
You just gloss over that?
I've been good. I honestly, bro, I've been like today. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I've been like the past few days. I ain't really been sleeping that well. I feel like the Lord's been waking me up, and when times like that, I just be, I'm like, okay, God, I guess you want to talk. So we've been talking. Today I woke up at 2 a.m.
Wow.
And I don't know. I think I mentioned it to you. When I wake up, I can't just go back to sleep. Like I'm up, and I'm up for a while, and then maybe after like 5 hours, then maybe I can go to sleep. So
yeah,
I was up at 2. I mean, I had to go into work today, so I just kind of just got up, showered, tried to wake up a little bit, whatever. But I'm good. But I'm tired. Came work, fell asleep, woke up, and was like, it's time to record. So, but I'm doing good, man.
Yeah.
I'm doing good.
Fit clean though.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. I ain't gonna lie, this is from H&M.
Yeah.
I'll let you know where it's from.
It's clean. The pants too?
Pants from PacSun.
The chain from Johnny Dang.
The chain. Man, I think they're both from Crafted London, I think. I don't know. It's not like it's nothing. I'm trying to be like you when I grew up, man.
No, I ain't got nothing on.
So you got to do back with the hoodie. You remember how you started off with the hoodie?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back.
You gonna bring it back?
Yeah, I seen one at the. I was shopping a couple weeks ago. I seen one.
The gray hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know. You guys remember Nick from the gray hoodie days?
A few probably do. I feel like most don't now, but really? I'm sure a few do.
Really?
I remember when I first started wearing clothes that weren't gray hoodies. They were like, "Yo, what the heck?"
Yeah, like what are you doing?
Yeah, like I've never seen y'all without a gray hoodie on. Like,
yeah,
like it was a crime or something. Like, bro, chill out.
You could have trademarked the gray hoodie, man.
That's what I'm saying. Let me get a little drip or something.
That was funny.
Look, what we wish we knew about sex, bro.
Brush on.
Yeah, I got a brush, bro. Give me my brush.
This guy's brush all in the.
Do you see how this man just disrespected me? He just threw my brush on the
floor. It's for your beard or your head?
It's for both, bro.
Snap. Come on, hey, you ever used to like rock the waves?
I used to.
You used to rock the waves?
I still do.
You went through like so many hairstyles, bro. You had the dreads.
Bro, look at my forehead. Waves.
Dipping.
You know what I'm saying?
Dipping. When you met me, I think I had like longer hair, right?
Yeah.
It was never like the little like 2 or whatever.
No.
Okay, I must have just
think you
started,
still had a burst.
Okay, I must have just started growing out my hair. All my life, I always had short hair. It's crazy.
Yeah, you still had a burst when we first met.
Bro, I'm going to tell you guys, burst fade Nick is...
I didn't like it.
The craziest Nick I've ever seen.
I didn't like it.
Crazy in a good way. That's the best hairstyle I've seen on you, bro.
I didn't like it.
Burst fade Nick. If you don't know what a burst fade is, look it up. I was like, dang, bro, this is your hairstyle.
This is your
This
hairstyle.
is you. This is you. It was dope. We both had burst fades too at one point. That was hard.
Yeah, it was pretty hard.
That was hard.
It was hard.
That was hard. But I like the look you got though too.
Nah, I appreciate you, bro.
That's good.
I appreciate.
But I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm chilling, dog.
Yeah.
Chilling. Just
you know, spiritually, physically, all that.
Yeah, I'm straight.
Amen.
I'm doing good.
Amen.
I'm doing good. Let's get into it for the people, man.
Let's get into it.
What we wish you knew about sex.
Man, this goes deep.
Yeah, what is it? What does the topic mean to you? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
that's a good question. So I think for me, when you said it's be a good topic, I agree. I think it would be. I think especially in the Christian community, it's kind of like, and it depends on how you're raised though.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't raised like in a Christian household, right? I had 2 religions in my household. I didn't grow up going to like vocational Bible school or all that stuff. But I hear and I can see how, because even in my household, like sex wasn't necessarily like perceived as something that was like cherished. Like it's like you just wait for it, but it's not like it's a bad thing. It seemed like it was very like condemned. Mm-hmm. It was like, don't do it or else God's gonna get mad at you. And if you think about wanting to do it, God's gonna be mad at you. And it's very just got this religious connotation to it.
Yeah.
When we really got to understand that it's actually like a beautiful thing that God blesses humanity with, because he created sex. You know, he created it to be intimate because he knows, and he made it to be like a confidential thing that brings people together in a way of connecting that is like literally nothing in the world. So because it's physical, but yeah, I think it's physical, but also like in a sense, like, you know, I don't want to say spiritual, but it's more intimate, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like combining just relationally sitting with someone, like having that intimate conversation and just having that love, but it's also combining that with the physical attributes. Like it's kind of crazy. And God, I think, was intentional about that, and knowing the, you know, the ramifications of what could come from it. He says, hey, you know, you want to do it in a safe space where you're married. And I think that's why, like, there's a scripture. I'm just gonna read that real quick, and then we can maybe talk about it. But shoot, one second. I gotta find it again. I think it was in Exodus. Yeah, it says. So this is Old Testament, but it says, if a man seduces a virgin who is not engaged and lies with her, he must pay a dowry for her to be his wife. And it's like, no, you need to make sure you cover her as a wife, because that type of intimacy that you've now shared that we just take for granted, thinking that it's not having ramifications, it is. God knows what he's talking about, to making sure it's like, no, you gotta be like binded to that person. Like you gotta go the whole the long road with them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wish I knew, because I had a very worldly perspective of sex, and we can talk about that. But
let's talk about it.
Relationship or like you know, Christian wise, religious wise, if you want to say. I don't like that word religious. I think it's always been like hush hush, and it's like condemned, when I think that shouldn't have been the approach as well. You know what I mean?
When it comes to the conversation of sex in general.
Yeah, like in the Christian community, like from what I hear, from what people are saying, from when they grew up, you growing up in high school and stuff, and they grew up in a Christian home. But I think you grew up kind of in a Christian, probably more of a Christian home than I have. I don't know if maybe you can talk to it. Or
I don't know if I would say that. I mean, we went to church a little bit, but we fell off for years. Yeah. But I think it probably has something to do with, like, just from a parental standpoint, when you feel like you're talking about something, you know, even if it's like in a don't do that way, you're still creating like interest and intrigue in your child to possibly want to, you know, dabble into that thing, you know? Yeah. I don't know. My parents never really had like the birds and bees conversation with me. Like I never got sat down and say, you know, this is how you make a baby and like XYZ. It was weird, but I feel like I just kind of like knew.
Yo, same, actually.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you already knew how it kind of went down. Same. Yeah. That is kind of weird.
I don't know how I got that from.
Yeah, I don't. It's weird. I pretended like I didn't know.
I pretended too. But I will say this. I don't know exactly how old I was, but I did start watching porn at a very young age. Really? That probably has something to do with it, to where I felt like, oh, I already know, because like, how could that act not, you know, it was just weird. Like I seen it and I was like, okay, things just like clicked.
Yeah, you put two and two together.
I put two and two together, but I think from that moment, my perception of sex was warped, because it's like I see it in this context of like porn, but I don't really know what it's supposed to do. I see the pleasure aspect of it, but I don't see like the bond and the relational aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Like how it was intended to be. So I carried that, you know, viewpoint with me throughout most of my life, to be honest, you know? But it's weird. I kind of just like knew from the jump. It was really weird. Yeah. Yeah. But from a church standpoint, nobody ever really talked about it. Yeah. Schools would talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
Like sex ed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, bro. I'm not joking. So when did you learn sex ed? Like when did you have that?
Sixth grade.
Sixth grade.
Yeah.
If I remember, I know I had.
Did you go to middle school in San Diego?
No. I went to middle school in like Riverside County, but it depends. So it depends what you call middle school, because my elementary school was actually, when I was in San Diego, was kindergarten through sixth grade. Yeah. So, but then when I switched to this other school in Riverside County, I went to middle school, but it was, excuse me. I mean, yeah, it was when I went to middle school. It was 6th, 7th, 8th, and that's like probably how your school was.
Mm-hmm.
But my school, it would have been 7th, 8th, 9th was middle school, and then high school was 10, 11, 12.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was weird. So I probably would have been in middle school, in San Diego, but I was still in elementary school in 6th grade. It was K through 6. It was so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in Riverside County, and then I moved out here to San Marcos at the end of 8th grade, and then was in high school. But yeah, no, I think they did some kind of like sex ed thing. I think in elementary school, if I remember, when I was probably in 5th grade or something. It was like something small, but I do remember in high school they did something where like someone had to like give birth or we watched someone give birth.
Yeah,
it was weird because it wasn't no like education behind it. The teacher just put on the screen and we just watching it. It was like weird. And so like you said, like a lot of it's talked about in school, but is it talked about like in the way that it should be? Because that's the school is obviously ran by the world.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get the wrong aspects of it, not the God perspective of it.
Well, from like a school aspect, it wasn't even like don't have sex. It was just like these are the potential consequences if you do choose to have sex. STDs, pregnancy, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like wait to like have sex. It was like if you do, then use a condom and just know that you could still get STDs and like stuff like that.
I do remember that actually. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was kind of, it almost made me want to do it more.
Really?
Because it was just like on all of our minds more.
Oh.
And at that point in high school, like, man, it was crazy in high school. Like girls were like giving BJs and a blowjob, like type stuff.
Dang.
In middle school,
Dang.
in 6th grade.
That's crazy.
Giving BJs in the bathroom. My best friend, he came out, he's like, bro, I just got, yeah.
In middle school?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I remember her name too.
Dang.
Sweet girl. I'm sure she's still a sweet girl.
I'm sure she is.
But it's crazy, like at such a young age.
Yeah.
At such a young age. And
it has to be worse too now. Oh my gosh.
You talking about her?
No, just in general, like the young age. Like
oh,
probably
yeah.
Kindergarten are doing this stuff.
I mean, just look at the progression of like porn, bro.
Exactly.
Like I remember when I was growing up, like porn was like, I think I found like a little like tape or something. And it was like a VHS tape or something like that. So it went from like a VHS tape to like a magazine to like I was like tricking on my like PSP, like you know what I'm saying, like trying to find something up my PSP.
Oh,
like,
snap. Yo, you had a PSP. You was a cool kid.
I had a PSP. It got stolen though, but I did have a PSP. I got it back though. I got it back. Yeah,
you got it back.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot crazier now.
Tricking on the PSP, I forgot.
Yeah, I was tricking on PSP. Yeah, that was wild. Clearing the history. That's wild,
oh no!
But look at the shame at such a young age,
like
bro.
Something in there. Like this ain't right. I can't let my parents know. Or
nah,
maybe
never did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nah.
Oh, she's probably watching it now. She's like, yeah, like, but she probably knew.
Yeah.
Key.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's so crazy. Like, just the misconception of it. Like back to that, man. It's just like. Even like for me, so we talked a little bit, I think, before about how like as you get older, and I think maybe this is due to the absence of being talked about it in a way that it's not so condemning, but yet still like, hey, you still should wait, but here's why you should wait. Here's what it does. Here's the spiritual ramifications of it. This is what it leads to. Like, and we see the damage that's done all throughout because of it now as an adult, but as a kid, you don't really know. But you need to have that relationship with your children and just that trust that I think a lot of families don't necessarily have, which is a whole nother thing. But I think for me, I think the biggest distortion, I think as I got older was feeling like I was like more of a man if I had a lot of partners. And it's crazy because I know deep down that I didn't even like really believe that, but I had to adopt that belief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know, after you do it for so many times, like, have that mindset in your head for so long, then you're just like, okay, you're trying to become that mindset. But deep down, you're like, that I don't want to rock with that. Because I remember all my life, bro, I always wanted to wait till I was married. And it's probably because I did have a really good relationship with my parents. Even though they didn't talk about like sex, like where it's like, how it's actually a positive thing, not a condemning thing, but you still need to wait. Yeah. It was really much like you need to wait, but it was very like I was just such a good kid. I always listened to my parents. So
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. Like I trusted them with like everything. I was like, okay, they said it's a wait. Like I'm just gonna wait. And I literally was like, I'm gonna wait till I'm married. But then I would like do other stuff. Like I mentioned the other time, like in high school, and that was just only like one thing. Wasn't no like you said BJ's. Like we wasn't none of that. But it's just whatever. Like and that was like my senior year or whatever. But like as I try to make it a thing, like I want to wait till I'm at least like in college. Like now I moved the line a little bit.
Yeah.
And you notice it's because your desires start to come a little more in high
Yeah,
school. Like,
yeah.
bro, it's like you fighting them demons. Like it's on you. And I was thinking, like, I told you I woke up at 2 a.m. I was thinking about, because you know how I talk about like the healing ministry and like there's different like traumas that you go through that you need to kind of like go back and face and break those bondages by pleading Jesus over it.
Yeah.
I go back and I try to think of the time I was ever exposed to anything like sexually. And if I go all the way back, I can remember when I was in elementary school and I went to a neighbor's house that I didn't even like know. And we were playing hide and seek in the closet, and it wasn't even like sexually, like it wasn't like all the way, but it's like for kids stuff. Like I was like, I had to be at like in 4th grade. I was like really young, but I was getting like felt up on by this girl, like in the closet. We were both hiding there, and it's so weird because in that moment I felt like I can't explain it, but like I was like receiving a demon is what I can probably say. Like I can feel like a spiritual thing shift.
Yeah.
And I think from that moment, like as small and innocent as that is, like that was the seed that planted into all this other stuff. And slowly I'm being desensitized. And now I'm like, okay, I listen to what my parents are saying, but now like, no, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna do this in college. Like, but I'm gonna feel like a good person if I waited till high school.
Yeah.
And then I waited all through high school, of course. But then
You waited all through high school?
I did, yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, man. You probably would be shocked about that, huh? I told you I went crazy
You
in
waited
college,
all
bro.
through high school?
I made it all through high school, but I didn't. I told you the first time I did it, I didn't want to.
Bro, you capping.
What?
You waited all through high school?
Yes, I went all through high school.
Were you dating in high school?
Yeah, I was dating, but it wasn't like we didn't do anything. We were just at school and we just would hang out by the library, like, I guess we like kiss and stuff in the library or whatever, but no, like as far as like having sex or whatever, I waited till I graduated high school and I lost my virginity that summer of high school, like after, and I didn't want to. I felt like pressured, and I kept saying no, which is so crazy, bro. I kept saying no, and it kept making every excuse, like no, it's fine. Okay, well, I was like, oh,
Inside of you? Or?
No, I verbally. I was like, nah.
No, you were saying no, but what do you mean? Like inside of you was making every excuse?
Was making.
Oh, she was making every excuse?
Yeah, she was like, like we was at this like party or whatever, and everyone was at the house or whatever, and everyone's leaving, and then her mom is still there, which is weird. You're having a party with your mom's there. Like to me, I don't know, whatever.
I'm not into that kind of parenting.
Yeah, like I mean, it's crazy because a lot of people would do that, and it was like, oh, my family's and kids are safe here, blah blah. But I get that, but you're letting your kids do all the things like drinking and all that stuff.
Drink and smoke and have you know guys up in your daughter's bedroom.
Exactly.
And stuff. Yeah.
Like, but you think that somehow makes it better because you're there?
Yeah.
Like, no. Like, you need to just still be not there and your kids not do that. Or if you're there, at least let your kids not be doing that. I don't know. But we was out there like we were doing crazy stuff. But her mom was still there and she was like, "Oh, let's go to my room." Blah blah. I was like, "No, your mom's here." Like every excuse. Oh, okay, no, okay, well, we can just go over here. And I was like, no, every excuse. And it kept escalating. Okay, well, let's just go out to the car then or something. I was like, okay, now I got to, and I'm pushing the line.
That wasn't her first time.
No, it wasn't. No. Okay. But it wasn't, but she wasn't like out there like that, I don't think. But it was mine. And bro, it was just,
I really got feeling you, it sounds like.
Yeah, bro. And that's another thing. And that's what I want to talk about with the distortion of a lot of things. I knew she was feeling me because deep down, bro, like I think it's wicked. I think it's manipulation, I think, on my end. Because I'll finish the story, then I'll talk about the manipulation thing. After we did that or whatever, I literally felt like, what have I done? I just lost my virginity.
Yeah.
Over somebody I don't care about. And I told myself I wanted to wait. And so because I did all that, I was like, well, it's gone now. I mean, I might as well just explore and get better at this or something.
Yeah, bro, you broke the seal.
I broke the
already.
seal,
You might as well
and
keep pouring.
exactly, and that is a lie as well. And I think that's how the devil gets you, too, because like, you know, it's crazy because like he'll bring you to all these temptations, and he'll leave you there, and then now you're dealt with, you know, the mess afterwards, and then also it's your fault instead of like, oh well, it's not, you were tempting me though, like, oh, it's all you, bro. You don't feel that on your own. Like the devil will never come for you. You know, that's just, I don't know. It's just crazy. But yeah, we'll talk about manipulation piece. But anything you want to add, like from your end? So you waited, like, oh, you I guess did it in high school, huh?
Freshman year.
That's crazy. You were 14, bro. Maybe 13.
I lost my virginity freshman year. My girlfriend, so we were the same age. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, she might have lost her virginity in like 8th grade.
Yeah.
I don't want to put that on her. Maybe it was freshman year too. But I know she had a boyfriend before me that she lost her virginity to. And we all went to the same school. And for me, it was like, I felt like less of a quote unquote man, even though I was a boy. But I felt like less of a man because like my girlfriend had an experience with somebody else and we go to the same school. So I felt like, bro, I got to get even. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So we did it. Bro, and it's like the same feeling that you said. It's like, I lost my virginity. And it's like, and it wasn't even worth it, to be honest with you.
It's not, man.
Like it was like, it really felt demonic. I didn't have the words back then in the spiritual maturity to understand it.
Right.
But looking back on it, it really did feel demonic. Like even the process of like losing my virginity and that whole process of like just having sex at that age and the purpose and the mind frame that I was in while I was having sex, it was just completely off. It was completely off. It was for all the wrong reasons. Like, yeah, we liked each other. Maybe we even loved each other. I don't know. We were young. But a lot of it was fueled by like jealousy. If not like 90% of it was fueled by jealousy. And probably, well, yeah, we'll say 90% was fueled by jealousy. Like there was obvious like attraction and, you know, I was like, I wanted to like have sex because I was watching porn and I want to see what it's like in real life type of thing. But after doing it, I was like, this is not even worth it. Like I should have just saved it for real.
Yeah.
Because it's even weird because in that moment, I knew I'm not even going to be with you forever. Man. Like I already knew.
That, yeah.
As soon as we were done, I sat back. I was like, I'm not even going to be with you. Like, it's not even worth it like that for real. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's crazy how, look at both our examples. And I know there's got to be people like that. Like for you, it was jealousy that led you to it. And for me, it was like pride. Like, how can you be a man and refusing it and it's right in your face?
Yeah.
As much as I've been refusing it the whole time.
Aren't you gay or something?
You know, literally.
I've had girls tell me
I've
that.
literally
like,
girls
are you gay or something? I'm like,
bro,
no, I
you
just
had that
don't
too?
want to.
I literally had that with, bro, this girl from high school who I was crazy about, but she didn't like me because I wasn't one of them like gangster dudes, or I wasn't like out there partying and stuff. Because I didn't really go to any parties in high school. Like I'm telling you, like I was just cool and stuff, but I wasn't like out there smoking, or I didn't do nothing. I was just like I told myself, I'm gonna go crazy in college. But as we got older and now we're in college and stuff, and now, you know, that girl was still around and stuff. Now she would like try to shoot her shot and try it. I'm like, what? You remember in high school you wasn't like feeling me or whatever? And she's like, whatever, blah, blah. And it literally was like, people were like, it was like, it's so expected that you need to say yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm just some animal, like some dog that's just gonna take whatever.
Yeah.
Every single person I've ever been with, at least maybe two, but every single one was like an upstanding person. Like it's like if something happens, like, hey, at least we can probably figure this out. It wasn't just like randos. So I had that conviction at least because I was instilled by my dad, like from a young age. That's a whole nother thing. He actually really taught me how to like respect women and all that stuff. And I think that's where the manipulation comes, where I was going to talk about. But it was like, yeah, like she would go around and tell people, oh, this dude must be like gay or something. How come he don't want to like do it? And it's like, what? You literally have like 3 kids right now, and like you obviously make bad decisions because all of them are like with these dudes that are just literally in jail, like, you know, like all this stuff, you know, like I'm not gonna be tied to you. Like
Yeah.
It was just no. But yeah, they would go into, and that's like literally some kind of like, it tried to put shame over you for rejecting that. So now you're like doubly in this whole mind thing. It's just nonsense. Like the world just making up their own rules, man. But yeah, man, that's crazy. But yeah, you said it felt like demonic. That's crazy.
It did feel demonic.
When did you ever like? So when you got first introduced to like porn and stuff, was it? Because for me, it was because I didn't know anything about that until I heard it in school, and then it made me like, well, what are they talking about? Like they was talking about, oh, like doing all this, and I was like, wait, what is that? It's like, you don't know what is this? I'll never forget. It was in that school in Riverside, and that's when they like opened the door to like other stuff, and it was like, it's just a crazy stronghold, man. That the devil knows if you get these kids early, it's you got them. You know, it's hard to beat.
You gonna say like, when did I like first stumble across like
Yeah,
porn
when you
and stuff?
first, yeah, you said when you were like 12 or something, but
I don't know necessarily like when it first began. It probably, like you said, it probably has something to do with like my friends at school like talking about it and whatnot. But I remember I stumbled across like some type of tape or magazine or something. It might have been like in the garage or something like that.
yeah,
And I think I remember I just kept it for the longest time because it wasn't like I didn't really know how to get on the internet and like watching and stuff like that. So I like kept it for the longest time. And then like I remember I think I like lost it one time and I was like fiending. And so I would just like get like magazines, bro. I would get just like Sports Illustrated magazines, like not even like porn, but like bikini like type stuff. And I would like do it to that.
I know what you mean, bro. I would do that thing with music videos, actually.
Same. Yeah, music
and
videos.
it's not
too.
even like bad. Like they're not like, but it's like that's the closest. Bro, that's so crazy. I can't believe it. I can't believe we were the same with that. But that's how you know you're like just oh my god.
Bro, I was a slave to it early.
It was literally you're a slave. Like you're in bondage. You
I'm
have
like,
control.
How
of me.
can I just get a little piece of it? Oh, bikini picture? All right, bet. Let me close the door. Let me get this off real quick. Like it was like to that level early, bro. Like early. I'm trying to tell you, it was early, and it did kind of shape my. It shaped my reality with like girls at that time, because it kind of made me a little bit more reserved when it came to like talking to girls and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it was weird because I don't know. I'm not trying to like brag or nothing, but I just always had girls that just liked me.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really
dude,
like
bro.
I didn't really have to do much.
Yeah.
They naturally, I just always had a girlfriend, and it's like I was always in those like awkward situations where like I had a girlfriend, but we never talked. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I know what
Like
you
we
mean.
would never talk. We would like awkwardly maybe like
kid
hold
stuff.
hands, like kiss stuff. I was always in those situations, and I'm like, I don't even know how I got in the situation in the first place. Like I really didn't like you like that, but like I had a problem saying no. You know what I'm saying? Like it was weird. But from a sexual standpoint, I feel like looking back on it, and I was talking to Stephanie about this, like being married and having sex, and when I was single and having sex, it's crazy how different those experiences are. And it makes me think, wow, I really should have saved myself until marriage. And Stephanie was saying the same thing. It's like, wow, I wish we would have really like saved ourselves until marriage, because this is such a unique, different experience right now. And as we're married, and we did it the wrong way.
Yeah.
According to God, we did it the wrong way. Just imagine if we would have did it the right way.
Yeah.
The fullness of that experience of having sex with my wife. Like, bro. That's where it's like, man, y'all, if you can, make it a point to save yourself until marriage.
Please.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
But look at that. So, I don't know if you couldn't.
Well, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but look at that though. Look how God still redeemed it though.
He did.
Like it's not like it's if you did like there's no condemnation as far as you'll never have this type of joy. Like when you do get married, start now and just say, you know what, no, like I'm starting now. I'm gonna commit to like purity because I do. And that's not to say that's gonna be guaranteed though. And that's a whole nother thing that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Just to that it's gonna be good or whatever. But just that intimacy piece, like God still can redeem that.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing to hear like how God can still redeem it, even though you claim that I did it wrong. But what were you gonna say?
Well,
Sorry,
I don't know what you think about this, but from like a porn perspective, do you think somebody who has never had sex like physically, but they've masturbated to porn, do you think that person is considered a virgin?
That's a good question. That's a good question. So I don't know. What do you think? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I would say, like, just normally in my mind, I would say yeah. But if I try to think about it, because you know me, I'll be thinking too deep and spiritually and stuff. I mean, if you look at a woman with lust in your eyes, then you commit adultery, and adultery is actually like that's if you can commit adultery without physically doing it, then it must be that sex has a spiritual component to it, and so it's like as if you actually did do adultery, which is the physical thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a good question. What do you
I
think?
would say no, because I would say no, you're not a virgin.
Oh, okay.
From my perspective.
Okay.
Because like you're playing with your sexuality. Not from the standpoint of like you're playing like, dating like same sex, but you're literally playing like with your sexuality. You're watching other people have sex and you're
Right.
coming to it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
like it's just from a purity standpoint, maybe you're a virgin from the standpoint of the world.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything to back this up scripturally, but from a purity standpoint, I don't see that as like you're still like pure from like, saving yourself until marriage standpoint, from like a holiness standpoint, because you're watching other people have sex. You're mimicking that act, however it may be, and you're, coming to that act.
Yeah, you're joining in that session.
You
I guess.
are.
Yeah. No, I think. I guess maybe if you
Not
look at
physically, but spiritually.
Yeah. Could that be another deception thing that the devil puts on us? Mm-hmm. Because again, it's all the spiritual components of it. Like, oh no, at least you didn't do it, but you can just be addicted in it this way and still try to feel like you're doing this. And again, you can't get into that because that's get into legalism and all that. But that's a good question. I never thought about that. I don't know.
I think it's tough. Like sex is so tough because on one hand, physically, it's so enjoyable. And even though like sometimes we know, and I'm speaking like, my not married self when I was like not married and stuff like that. It's like, even though we know it's not good to do, it's like, bro, it's difficult to like break free from that bondage sexually. And I think that's like why it's so important to like flee from that type of sin, because you almost start to become comfortable with it. It's like you're convicted, but it's like your comfort outweighs your convictions when it comes to that, because the pleasure that you're experiencing is kind of like minimizing your conviction in a way. At least for me, that's what it was. And it was like, man, this is kind of becoming problematic. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So when I got married, I thought like, I didn't think anything was going to change sexually for real, to be honest with you. And the first time we had sex, like married, I was like, what the heck? Like, not to sound weird, but I'm like, bro, is this like a different person or something like that? Like it just felt different, bro.
That's amazing.
And she even said the same thing. But she said the same thing like weeks after, like a couple weeks after. It wasn't like immediate, but she looked over at me. We're in the car and she was like, like, I didn't think it was going to be different, but like it was different. And she even said, she was like, I don't know if people would believe me if I were to say that it would be different, but like it really is different. And I was like, I agree with you 1,000%. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's just different.
That's amazing.
That's
amazing. That's good. That kind of goes into like back to a lot of the things I wish I knew about sex, like, back to like the distorted view of things. So you mentioned, it's different and all that. And I mean, it is. And I think even, because again, I'm not married at all. So I don't have any type of like knowledge of that type of difference being there. All I have is just my relationships that were when I was out here in college and stuff, and even after college. And it's like, it's crazy because you obviously don't believe that I was like, a virgin all through high school, because you know about all like the stories I have and stuff. But all that is all stemmed from like being brokenhearted and all that. And that just made me say, like, really forget it. And remember, at that time, I was like trying to learn about the Lord too. So I'm over here saying I would say that I was a Christian, very, very baby, still struggling with the world and stuff. But I would notice that, because I tell you how when I had my last relationship or whatever, that was like my first like real relationship. Like, it was real. It wasn't like these high school ones where it's like awkward, whatever. It was like one of those things where we were very like open. Like, it was like there's no judgment with me or you. You can say how you feel. Like, we had great communication. Like, we fought a lot though. It was crazy toxic, but at the same time, it was like vulnerable. It was very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I noticed, and this is where the distortion comes, because I had like many partners or whatever, but when you have a partner that's like you have that vulnerability with, it's kind of like what I would have imagined. I don't know, because I mean, this is like 10 years ago, but I imagine that that's how sex could have been if I was married, because I'm doing the things that a real married person should do, which is to be vulnerable and transparent with one person. Like, when I was with this person, like, it's crazy because you'd still be in college and stuff, and yeah, you'd see like other women and stuff, but it's so weird because in the back of your mind, you're still like, but that person is still like the most beautiful person ever, or like whatever. It's like a weird thing, but that's where the distortion comes, because it's like, I knew I felt like I shouldn't be doing this, and she was like always trying to do it, like always. Like, it's like, it's crazy because like it felt like it was like a sort of bond or whatever, but it was always better than any like partners I had when I was in the world. And I thought in my mind, well, okay, this is obviously because you doing the things that, because when I'm like with someone and all that, like I'm very like, I'm a listener. Like, I'm very much like, treat people well and I always try to make an environment where people are comfortable. And then when that person's comfortable, then you're comfortable. You have conversations, you go out, you like spend time, all that stuff outside of the bedroom. So that way, when that happens, that's where it's like you feel relaxed and you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I know that's what people say, and that's where the struggle is, and why I hear about people in marriages that don't have good, intimacy like that, is because of other things outside the bedroom.
Yeah.
So I was always conditioned and grew up in that condition of nurturing that stuff that was outside the bedroom. So that way, when it does happen, it's always been great.
Yeah.
But that was the distortion in the lies that I was told by the enemy, or not the lies, but that taste I had, not under the covenant of God. And you can see the intimacy of how deep that was, and the pain, and how crazy it was after we broke up. It was crazy. Like, this girl literally went crazy. Like, and I know I did that to her because I didn't honor her. And I told her, I'm trying to honor you. And she would be like, what do you mean? Why would God tell you to like, I literally was like trying to do a fast, right, one time. And I was like, I want to fast. And we're for sure not doing that. And she's like, she got mad because she was like, oh, God made you fast from me. Like, it was a weird thing in her head that made it seem like that was us being intimate. Like, why would God do that? And it's like, like, we shouldn't even do that in the first place. And I'm trying to make myself better. Again, I was a baby Christian, like 21 or whatever. Like, oh, you think that's doing something? But it was where I started, everyone's on their own walk. But it was like little things like that. But she went like, I don't say crazy, but I meant like, I made her crazy. Like, I did that. I damaged her.
After
we broke up and all that. I mean, and she lost so much weight, and I know I did. Like, we'd have toxic things. We'd break up on and off. She'd be screaming out the side of my balcony, bro, like at 2 a.m. after I was just like.
After you broke up?
No, this is after, like, when we'd have arguments and stuff. Like, I know, like, because I was very manipulative at times. And this is what I want to talk about too, because I always, and again, this is like it's a gift and a curse, I think. I've always knew how my goal with getting to like that type of level with people is I always like, bro, I was always a gentleman my entire life. I'm not even playing, and I'm going to tell people, I'm telling you, nice guys don't finish last. Simps finish last. I don't know what else a word to use other than that. Simps finish last. You need to know how to like see them when you're being fooled, but you need to treat women with respect. From my experience and from what I've seen, they will go and initiate things. Most of the people I've ever been with is because they initiated it, because they felt comfortable. And my goal is to make them comfortable. And I knew it was going to happen if you're comfortable. And if it doesn't happen, I'm the type of person where I'm literally okay with that. And it's like genuine. Like, I'm just trying to get to know you and have a good time, because in the back of my mind, I don't want to do it anyway. But of course, one thing leads to another, one thing leads to another. And it's always initiated to me, it was like the woman, because they were so comfortable. And again, a lot of them weren't like Christians anyway. So, but that's where the manipulation piece was, because I knew in the back of my mind, obviously I would kind of want that, even though my flesh would want that. I spiritually am trying to grow in the Lord as a baby Christian, not trying to do it. But I knew that if I were going to do it, it's at least going to be better for both of us, because you're comfortable, I'm comfortable. And it's always better when it gets to that point, 100 times better when both are comfortable. And I saw the damage that I was doing, because every time, and I talked about this on the last podcast, many times she would cry, and it wouldn't be crying because of pain. It would be because of that intimacy. And I'm like,
because it was so intimate.
Because it was so intimate. And it's like, oh my gosh. And I know it's not because, it's a lot of the other stuff. It was the safe space I provided. It was me being a gentleman. It was me having communication, me being honest, all that stuff. So I know the tools that literally I think biblically you should be doing as a man that will fix any type of issue with that, like when you're married. But you gotta wait till you're married, because if you do that, and I really believe as a man, you need to lead this. And it, like, I really just believe that. Like, you mentioned it last time, how men need to have self-control on that one, I think last episode, maybe the one before.
The last one,
I really believe that. You need to have self-control. And it's a lot of men that's trying to force that next step on women, and then now women feel like they have to do it, and now they're not vulnerable, now they're not comfortable, and then so it's like, how could you even want to do it if someone's not comfortable? Like, it's just a whole thing. But if you, so that's where I saw myself, and this is my own experience, of course, but I saw that that's a form of manipulation, though, for me. Because I knew what I was doing. And then so, and that's why it seemed like a lot of things would end bad, because I knew that it was different, because I knew that I was different than like, people say, oh, I'm different. No, I knew I was different, because my dad told me how to act and how to treat women. And it led to me being how I was. You just got to be cool too. Like, just be like be yourself, but be respectful. I'm telling you, they'll come.
Well, I mean, that's the challenge, because if you do all the right things outside of the bedroom, because intimacy starts way before you even get in the bedroom. It starts like opening up the car door. It starts with like communication. It starts with compliments. It starts
just
with
consistency.
Yeah. Like, intimacy is way before you even like get into the bedroom. And like, really, us as men operating as masculine men and treating a woman right, like you said, some women naturally, they're gonna just want to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? And that poses an issue, because it's like, you want to be a masculine man, you want to treat women right and respectful and all the things you were just saying. But it does pose an issue, because like, there's might be some women who are trying to throw it at you. And now, like, as Christians, and I know there's probably Christian men, well, I know for sure there's Christian men that are listening to this podcast. It's like, okay, now once you're in that situation when she's trying to throw it at you, that's the temptation. Now, how do you handle that situation? How do you handle that situation with communication and not, just striking her down and making her feel like shameful or, embarrassed about, being vulnerable with you. But how do you also, not fall into that temptation? And that's a struggle in itself,
I think God helps with that too. Because again, so this with non-Christian women and stuff, and I say that because, again, I'm looking at my experience, but those are examples I'm talking about, people that weren't Christian women. But
not every woman's like that.
But I've had that with people, again, early on and stuff like all that, like, that would probably say they were baby Christian as well, that were still learning. But I noticed that in those times, and I think this is the grace of God, it wouldn't be like how it was with other people, because I think we both had that conviction deep behind our mind that we shouldn't be doing this. We're leading in our flesh. So it wouldn't be like a crazy good experience like how it would be with maybe like a worldly person, or even like when I'm trying to disassociate myself, because you can just tell the body language and things. Like, I know you're not comfortable because we both know what it is. We shouldn't be doing this, and we now found ourselves here, and now it's too late, and we feel like we need to keep going because it's already here. When really what we should be to do is just say, wait a minute, can we just stop?
It's too awkward.
It's too awkward.
It's way too
but
awkward.
why is it awkward? If it's awkward, then you shouldn't be having sex, because you should be able to be open and vulnerable with whoever you're intimate with, because that's a very intimate action.
I think the majority of like people who are having sex, well, maybe not majority, but I think everyone can point to a situation where they were like doing something that it was awkward. Yeah. And maybe it's like we shouldn't have been doing it, but like you said, it's like, bro, we're
like
already in
here.
it.
I can't seem awkward. I can't seem weird.
Exactly.
We're going through. It's just crazy, bro. Like, you read the Bible, like, I mean, I don't know if Adam and Eve had sex beforehand. I think they did, but it said they were naked and they had no shame. They were naked. They had no shame. That is what you need to establish first before you even have sex. And the only time I think you can really establish that to go into having sex is when you're married, because there's no shame. When you get married, there is no games. I'm my real person. You're your real person. So that's why I know there's hope.
That's good, bro.
And God is blessing that. He is blessed. He created that. You need to have no shame. And there's no shame outside the bedroom. Everything. No shame with your finances. No shame with how you eat. No shame with how you dress. No shame with how you speak. No shame with what you have desires of. No, or like, like to aspirations. Oh, you want to be a bus driver? No shame. All around. No shame. And that's why, again, that's why I'm always big on, like, we talked about like living with each other beforehand and all that stuff. Like, oh, I got to see if, we're compatible first. Or, oh, I got to see if, I got to test it out. People have sex beforehand. They literally say this, literally. And it's Christian men that say this too, that would say to Christian men, I need to have sex first to try it out first. Even women say it. I've had Christian women back when I'm literally trying to do that with me. And I'm like, no. And I have to, no. And it's like,
I'm like, no.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not a baby Christian no more. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's not to say people fall. I don't know, but
yeah, absolutely.
But it's just like, no. If the fact that you come in with that mindset, you're missing it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build all this other stuff around, so that way when we come to this covenant, we know there is no shame. I'm telling you, bro, I always am trying to frame that framework. There's no shame. Oh, you need to freaking let people know about me, and you need to like say this stuff about me, and I need to be mentioned in these rooms, and you need to talk about. Why do you care about other people think? And like, it's a lot. It's deep. And it needs to be an establishment where we know that we're confident in who we are. That goes in every area in life. Adam and Eve were naked. They had no shame. If you have shame with your husband, you feel you can't be yourself, that's an issue. You need to talk about that. That's going to affect your bedroom. These are all things that I feel like I've learned from a worldly way, that I can see biblical things to it. And those are things that I wish I've learned. Well, obviously I wish I just didn't do it. Like, I promise you, bro, I wish I just didn't. I hear stories about, like, some of my Christian friends, they'll say, like, they hear about girls talking about the ones that waited till they're married. Like, because one friend of mine who works at a hospital, like these nurses and stuff, and she just talking about how amazing it is with her husband. And it's like, she was a virgin. And it's crazy because, again, that's how, one, you have no imprint on other people, first of all. And besides all that, it's going to be, whether if you have imprint or not, that no shame. We're in a marriage. If you take it seriously and to know that you are becoming one, and I'm being honest, and we have communication, it's gonna be great. And then again, I'm not married. I don't know. But if you do get married and there's issues, you need to be able to have no shame to talk about your issues. Like, hey, I'm not feeling this kind of thing. I think that should be okay. Yeah. And it should be received okay both ways. It just should. But we need to also have realistic expectations. And that's where the issues of, like, porn and all that stuff comes in, where I think a lot of people know that that's a whole nother category. But I don't know. Like, I don't know.
What do you mean a whole nother category?
Like how people are just like how in porn, like, there's no like rejection.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's just automatically like, oh, hey. And sometimes in porn, it's like the woman's the dominant one, like the more like, or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, I feel like it's all lies, and just like how people are doing things. Like I feel like it's just all, it's got to be lies, because if it is, or if it was truth, then I don't know, it's got to be. And I'm remembering from when I was watching it, you know. So
Well, I think it just sets people up to have a false expectation.
yeah, and I think people just know though that it's false, right? Or
I
no?
think they do, but at the same time, it's like you kind of bring that into
okay.
the relationship sometimes, and you kind of like, maybe you trying to mimic and act like, you know, play out different scenes and different stuff like that.
okay,
Like I'm
okay.
sure that plays a role for some people at least.
Yeah.
But
So okay, then there's that piece, and let me know what you think.
mhm.
I wanted to ask you about it, but I don't know if I'm gonna ask you, but now it's on my mind, so I'm gonna ask you. Do you think because you're married, so I don't know, you know, all that stuff about these roles that you're talking about, do you think all that is still like, that's okay? Like whatever we do when we're married, like how we do, like all that stuff. Again, not with the whole bringing other people and all that, but like it's just me and you. Like, do you think anything goes? Like when you're married?
Sexually,
Yeah.
define anything.
Like, I don't know. Like it's like as if you can't like. Do you think that you can't, like, you has to be like vanilla?
I don't think it has to be vanilla.
Yeah.
I don't think your girl should be out here pegging you or nothing
Oh.
like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it has to be vanilla, but I think it still has to be like, it has to be respectful and masculine and like as God intended.
Oh, I didn't even think about
I don't
that.
think
I
you
guess I
should-
should have thought about it. I didn't think of it.
That's why I said define
Well,
anything.
Yeah. Well,
But I don't think it just has to be missionary,
Yeah.
just the
Yeah,
same time, the
that's what I was
same,
talking
you
about.
know, stroking. Nah,
Because I
like,
think that's
please
an-
your woman.
yeah. Well, I asked that because I think that's another misconception about when you're in the world and when people tell you, like when you're growing up, your parents tell you don't have sex, blah, blah, blah. And then when you do hear about people that are married that did it the right way and have sex, you automatically assume, oh, it's vanilla, it's bad, it's not exciting, it's just we're doing our duty. You know,
Well,
we
we're
can't have
still
fun.
humans, though.
Exactly.
You know?
Okay.
Like it's
Yeah.
not like we just get married and automatically we just lose that desire to like
The like
want to
spice
please
thing.
or be pleased. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like, yeah, keep
you-
it respectful. Keep it the
Yeah.
way that God intended.
Yeah.
Like,
there should be, I think there should be like desire there.
yeah.
And if you read this Song or like, you know, Song of Solomon, whatever, that you,
oh
if
yeah,
you read, if you,
yeah.
he listen to all that, I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
wait a minute, are they talking about
Mm-hmm.
oral right now? Are they
Dang.
talking, like, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm like, wow, okay, God, like,
You feel like that's off limits?
no, I don't feel like off limits. Or what, the pegging thing?
No,
I didn't even think about that.
I'm
No, I
talking
don't.
about oral. You feel
No,
like oral? Okay.
no, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. You think anything's off limits sexually?
That's
in
the
a
thing.
marriage?
I don't know. I want to say no.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say no, except for like other partners and stuff. Like, because again, that's biblical. Like, you know, marriage should be, you know, between your husband and your wife, and in that marriage is when you do that. So it was between your husband and wife. So whatever y'all can consent to. Now that's the thing. If your wife doesn't want to do something, you can't just say, "Well, you were doing it," or if your husband doesn't want to do something, you can't say we're doing it. But I think if you guys agree you want to do something, I think anything kind of goes. I think, but I didn't think about it that deep like that. So
Oh,
It's just
I
a
was
mind.
thinking about it. I was thinking about
yeah, yeah, I feel you.
that. Yeah.
That's funny. That might be a question to ask. There's another question. I actually wrote out. I have a bunch of scriptures written out, and maybe I can read them. But I have 4 questions I want to ask. I thought we can maybe go back and forth, as we're kind of like.
Let me ask you real quick
Yeah.
before you ask those questions. Do you think sex is the highest level of intimacy with a partner?
Like, you know, you're talking about like physical person, like not God or something, right?
No, like with your like.
Because I think the
spouse.
highest form of intimacy is your relationship with God when you have a real deep one, because that is like amazing. But with your spouse,
Yeah.
it's a good question. I don't know, because I wouldn't say it's the highest form. I think it's kind of like just like there has to be a highest form, and then that is like a cherry on top. That is like an additive. That is like a thing, because I mean, when you get old and then you can't do that, you still have that type of highest form of intimacy.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just like, now you're not able to have sex no more, so now our highest form is gone. Like, no, we have, again, this type of trust and bond and real intimacy that we were able to physically, you know, attach as well. So then when
Yeah.
the physical part has to be gone because we just can't, which I believe we should be able to for a longer period of time. It's just what we're eating and what we're consuming and all this stuff. That's another thing. And I think they're trying to kill us. But
dang, I just got crumble cookies too.
you did, and you got all chocolate.
Chocolate's bad for you?
Nah, it's just too much chocolate. You know, I don't like chocolate like that.
No, that's true.
Yeah, well, I like lava cakes and brownies, but that's it. But anyway,
lava cake is like the most chocolate.
Yeah, but that's a different kind of chocolate though. It's different. I'm complicated, bro. But no, yeah, highest form. That's a good question. I think, I don't know. I think that's just like it's a cherry on top. That is very.
Yeah.
It's like it's different. It's a different form that is unlike anything else. But I think you can that type of intimacy, that closeness. Again, I think that's established outside of the bedroom, and that's where I feel like I was always trying to nurture, before that, and so it always was like,
yeah,
it was kind of like that. I can't, bro.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many times I'm just listening to these people, like, but you gotta, it's funny, but yeah, what do you think?
I'll say it like this: have you ever like been dealing with a girl, and then like y'all break it off? But then you still have this like urge to want to still like sleep with her.
Like with the last person or whatever?
Yeah, like anyone in
to
general. Like you're talking to somebody and maybe you have sex.
Yeah.
And you break it off and you're done with her. She's done with you.
Yeah.
But it's like you still have this like urge to like want to have sex with them. But it's like, bro, I'm
got
like,
you.
but I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I actually never have. I never have. But I will say this. There's been like it's been times where I would miss, again, that whole intimacy that's outside of the bedroom. I would miss that at times.
That you have with that person.
That I would have with other people or whatever. Yeah. I was like, man, like that was real. Or like even just like, it's so crazy how like, even when you're in the world, like when you meet someone like out at a club or something, like again, my example, meet someone at a club or something. And then we just see each other for one day. Like maybe just like, there's one girl I remember, she was in town. She went to Dartmouth or whatever. She was in town just for like that couple days. Yeah. And we had like a good like conversation and all that. And then now you're gone forever. So it's like, it's stuff like that. It's like, dang, that was like a really good little thing that came and gone, and what if, and you might maybe think about that maybe, but like even then, actually no, I don't think about that. Cause that's like a whole different thing. That's just nothing. But it's never been like like I miss like, oh, sex with this last person or that person. Nah, I can say I never that. It's crazy if you think about that. But I will say like there's been like, man, like there's certain attachments that you have and bonds that you made because it's a knowing. It's like so like deeply rooted. It's a knowing that that person knows that person knows. Like track that. Like it's so deep. That is what you'll be like, man, you can't find that really in places. But I know it can always be established. And it takes time. It really takes time. It takes time with being honest with yourself of what you expect, setting boundaries, having another person respect your boundaries. They respect your boundaries. You communicate what those are. It's just got to be real. It's got to be not fake. It's got to, I mean, again, everyone's always kind of a little different when they first meet. You're on your best behavior. I always clean my car. You know what I'm saying? I put on the little air freshener. Make sure I got the Chelsea boots to match. You always go a little extra mile. But again, those are the things too that my dad always told me, which I talked about. You got to keep those up. But all that stuff, like, I don't know, like it's those I would miss. It would never be like the physical thing. I can confidently say I've never missed a physical thing with any person from the past. Because I'll be honest with you, bro, if without the component of like knowing people, I thought I was crazy. Yeah. I thought I was crazy. It literally is all the same. To me, it's all the same. People look different, whatever, but it's all the same. It's what it is. It's sex. It's all the same, but it's always different when you have the other stuff different to me. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know if that makes sense. Unless maybe, Mono, do you have a different perspective? Like you wonder other people or something? No, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I was saying from the standpoint of kind of what you said is like, there is an aspect of the relationship is that connection is different. Like when you're intimate with somebody, the connection is definitely different. It's a deeper level of connection. And
like I think the more that you have sex with that person, the more that you're kind of like deepening that connection and kind of deepening that bond in a way.
Yeah, that's what the Bible says. Like he like went and took her, and he like knew her. Like you're knowing someone. Like it's not like you out here just having sex. Like you're knowing someone.
Yeah,
like their soul. Like if I can, it's you gotta abstain from that if ever you can. But I think you get desensitized and you kind of just like, oh, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. And then the adult keeps telling you that lie that's not that deep. But you know it's that deep because you experience it yourself. Now you do it the right way. You see how deep it is. Yeah. But you just believe the lie. I don't know if I cut you off.
Yeah. No, you're good. But from like an intimacy standpoint, is sex the highest level of intimacy? I don't think it is either, but I do think it is a tool that is used in the confines of a marriage to deepen that intimacy, deepen that bond, and deepen that connection even further. And I think there's a Bible verse that says something similar to that. But I think if your sex life is off, like in a marriage, it's definitely it's definitely gonna contribute to the erosion of other things in your marriage. And I think other things are gonna break down as a result of it, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, we're humans. Like we have desires, we have attractions, we have, I don't want to say needs, but that's the only word that's coming to my head right now, is like we have needs.
I think it's okay to say that word, to be honest, because in the Bible it talks about, like, you know, Paul talks about how, like, okay, let's say, you know, you guys are married, like, don't withhold sex from one another.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, like, unless it's just for a short period of time, if you're trying to, like, you know, make yourself separate just to be with the Lord for a little bit, maybe through a fast or something. But I think he really says you need to join back together, because I think it's showing that we do have like these needs. But yeah, sorry to cut you off.
Well, I think that's the scary part is, like, okay, if you're building that bond and connection with somebody who's not your spouse, and if you're continuing to do that, like, that could potentially end up in, like, I don't know how biblical. Do you think soul ties are like biblical like that?
You know, it's crazy because I don't know if the Bible even says anything about. It definitely doesn't have that word. I don't know if maybe it is like in like a Greek or something, but I don't see anything really about that. But I know it's there. Like it is a thing. I think it's a thing. It probably is. I probably need to look and find it. I never really try to look and find it, but yeah, I think it is. But I mean, there's nothing that can't be broken by the name of Jesus.
Absolutely.
I had to break my soul tie with everyone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I really haven't even had sex with that many people, to be honest with you. And I know, like, anyone outside of my wife, technically from God's standpoint, is a lot of people. But even the people that I've had sex with, it wasn't worth it for me to, like, have sex with those people in order to not save myself for my wife. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not something that I look back on and be like, oh man, like that experience that I gained really helped me be more experienced for my wife or whatever. You know, people be saying that. Yeah. I was watching Love is Blind, and the women on the show, they were talking about, like, oh, like, I need a man who, like, has had more sexual partners than me. Like, I need a man to, like, teach me what to do and, like, you know, show me the ropes and stuff like that. It's like, okay, like, you don't have to.
Why don't you learn it together?
Why don't you learn together?
Everyone's different. You might not even like the stuff that he might have picked up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's starting over. You're a new temple. It's kind of like you learned about your relationship with God. Like you're learning about your relationship with this person, both like personally wise and physically. Like, let's not skip that. Let's start on a green slate. Let's do it only in marriage, though, please. But yeah.
But I feel like, if you truly love somebody, if you truly have a connection with somebody, if you really care about somebody, it's not going to be an issue of, like, oh, the sex is going to be bad when we're married. Like, why should I wait till I'm married when I can just find out right now, like, what it's like? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have that perspective, and do you really have unconditional love for that person that you're about to, you know, get into a relationship, a covenant with, you know, before God? Yeah. Or is it just like, you know, is it for other, you know, ulterior motives that you're getting married? Like, it shouldn't even matter. Even if it was, let's say, quote unquote, bad. Okay. Like, you're still my wife. I love you.
Exactly.
Like, let's talk about it.
Can't get worse than this.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. Let's talk about it. Let's
Yeah.
figure it out. What can I do? Like, let's figure it out. It's not just like, oh, if the sex is bad, then this whole marriage is just like, screwed. So I might as well find out, what it's like right now. Like,
Yeah.
no, that's a totally backwards way of looking at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%. And honestly, I think it's hurtful too, because I don't know if I'm gonna whatever. It's kind of hurtful because I was told, and again, this is like early on when I was with this atheist person, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember she said to me later on, but it's like, I know you, like you said, I think you said that just to prove a point. But she said, if we, because it's so, remember I told you it's so important to her.
Mm-hmm.
She said, if you was like bad, we wouldn't be together. Like, she told me that. Like, so from the jump, like, she made it seem like, kind of like how you were saying, people are like, oh, you got to test it out to see how it's going to be. Like, so that first impression, like, was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be cool or whatever. It's like, I'm not even joking. And I told her, I was really hurt that you said that, because it's so deep. It's so deep into it. So now it's not conditional. Even though I know that's not what you meant. And now it's not conditional. Now it's like, okay, you don't have this concept of people can change. You don't. You think that I'm gonna just be the same no matter what and just not listen to you if whatever. Like, it was just all these things. And I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, even with this topic, like I try not to talk about it too much, even though we've been talking about it forever. Because again, I can't talk about it. I'm only talking about it, and I want to address everyone. I'm talking about it from a man who has done it wrong. And I know how God intends for it to be done now. Even when I did know how God intended it to be done, I did it wrong. Because now it's like I was in love with my flesh. I've tasted it. So now it's harder to beat off that temptation because you've tasted it. It wasn't hard to beat it off like all through high school because I didn't really taste it. Now you taste it. Now it's a whole spiritual thing to it. I'm looking at it from this perspective, and it's like, I just know God's going to bless that area of my life when I eventually get there. But I need you guys to know that, one, I feel like a majority of people, are just not, they didn't wait. That just seems to be the case.
Yeah.
But I love your testimony, and just in general, like, we can see the flaws. We can see the lies that was told. I personally saw the lies from my own, like, relationships and stuff. But knowing that God can redeem it. Please know that it's literally so amazing to wait. But the thing is too, we talked about how we, think it's kind of cool that people like get married young and all that. Again, don't get married just to try to do that.
Just to have sex.
Just to have sex, because people do that too. Don't do that. Establish all this other stuff, because sex alone is not going to save your marriage. No. But all the other things that save your marriage can save your sex. It doesn't work the opposite way. You know what I mean? Let me say that again.
No, I think when you lead with sex in your relationship, you feel like everything revolves around that.
Exactly.
And that's not the way you should be doing it.
Exactly.
You should be leading with the other aspects of emotional, spiritual intimacy that don't include sex.
Yeah.
And then once those are concrete, once those are solid, and, assuming that you're married, then go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
But even like my testimony, don't look at my testimony and be like, oh, well, you were having sex before marriage and like God redeemed it. And you even said like it felt great. Like, no. I'm not saying it as like a positive
fine.
story. I'm saying it just like you said, like I did the wrong thing. And by the grace and mercy of God, he still allowed me to taste, a glimpse of, that true, pure form of sex as it was intended to be. But why not just save yourself like 100% for your spouse, as opposed to like going down the route that we went, down.
Yeah.
Like learn from us, learn from what we're trying to tell you, learn from the game that we're trying to give to you. Like, what's to say, like a wise man learns from the mistakes of other people? Like learn from our mistakes of us telling you, like, we have been in the world, have had partners, and at the end of the day, like you said, like it's just sex.
Yeah.
Like we put it on a pedestal so much.
Exactly.
Like don't put it on a pedestal. Like actually,
we do put it on a pedestal.
But
it's so crazy.
It's so much. It's the world wants us to.
The world wants us to. Yeah. And it's crazy too, because if you think about, like, again, the truest form of intimacy is I believe your intimacy with God, and obviously, that part is missing, the physical part of it. But I'm telling you, I know many of you watching can agree. There is literally no intimacy more intimate than that, where it's like you're fully fulfilled. So how is that the case when you're fully in the spirit? It's not saying it's like that all the time. I don't feel like that all the time. I struggle with praying to God. I struggle with talking at times. But when I'm in it and it's disciplined and it's consistent and I have a deep, like, going relationship, it's like I've never felt anything better than this, no matter who a person can give me, no physical, nothing. So if we can do that, again, I'm always big on, like, emulating the things of how God does things with us. I think everything is a emulation of how things are. Like, marriage is obviously it's a copy of how, like, the father and the son, or excuse me, the son, how he, the church is his bride, kind of thing. So, I really believe that you can have that type of, like, closeness. If you can have that closeness with God, I do think you can have that class of closeness with another person. It's not the same because it's different with God, but that's the, like, goal, just like with love. Like, you can love God and you can't even see him. I think you can, and it's unconditional. It should be unconditional, by the way. If you love God conditionally, I think we still have a lot of growth to do. That's just me personally, because, again, God has already gave us everything from the jump. So we love him because he loved us, absolutely. But once you grow in your relationship with God, now you need to, I firmly believe, you need to love him even if he weren't ever to do anything for you ever again in your life. You need to have that genuine, undeniable, unconditional love for him. And you're only brought to that through trials and tribulations and growing your relationship, I believe. And we also know God is not going to do that. He's a God. He knows you need a roof over your head. He knows you need clothes on your back. He knows he's a generous God. He loves to give gifts, right? That's who he is. That's his character. But that's not to say you need to love him for what he can give you, though he will give you stuff. You need to love him unconditionally. And it's only in that space of love where you can go through trials and tribulations and issues with your marriage and all these different things, bad sex with your marriage, all that stuff, and still find the intimacy that you feel the void in, because it's always going to be with God. And I do think you can emulate that with another person, but it takes the same way that we relate with people, the same way we relate with God. It takes commitment, it takes consistency, it takes time, it takes being truthful, it takes being honest, it takes not keeping a record of wrong. Like, let's not play games. Can we just be real with one another? So I'm praying that these marriages, just people watching, I'm sure they're married. I'm praying for your marriages. It's a beautiful thing. Marriage is such a beautiful thing. You have two people that have the image of God. They both were made in the image of God, and these two images come together and make another image. But what is? It's like it's so deep. You're one. You're one. I don't know. And you know what the Bible says, like, whoever God brings together, let no man separate. So, wow. If it's that deep and if it can be that amazing, let's work at it, and let's know it's gonna be work. And we get too like infatuated with being, like, annoyed and just, like, constant, instant gratification. We talked about the other time, like, oh man, let me just, I get bored with this app and go to another app. Get bored with this app, go to another app. Let me check out this. Let me check out this news. Constant stimulation. We're more stimulated than any time ever in the world.
Facts.
I mean, I personally gotta get better at this. I'm being stimulated on my phone, looking up songs while I'm driving to change the song because I need to be stimulated. And it's so funny with songs. Like, if the song starts to get boring, I change it. I can't just listen to a whole song. Like, I gotta, man. It's funny. Like, there's this song. That Firm Foundation song, right? Like, for example, that, like, when that bridge comes, right? When it goes, when it's like it has a little piano or something, and then it goes, wind came, wind blew. Like, I wait for that, and it's like that's the highlight of the song. But it's like sometimes after that is over, unless I need it one more time, I'm over the song. I skip it. Now I need to do another song. That's gonna be another highlight. And it's like, I'm looking forward to it, and it's so crazy. And I use that as my highlights of my relationship with God. Like, I'm gonna listen to this, and I'm gonna listen to that point, and I'm gonna have it while I'm in prayer, and it's gonna come, and now my point with God is gonna be the highest because I'm looking at this point because now everything's synchronized and is at the point.
Yeah.
What? We do the same thing, I think, with our relationships. I think we do the same thing in our relationships. We look for these like high points, and it's like, God's always with you.
Yeah.
Whether the high points or low points, it's always the same. You can never do anything to make him love you more or less. He loved you and died for you before you even knew anything about nothing.
Yeah.
He loves you unconditionally. With your husband, with your spouse, don't stop looking for these high climax points.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have this one great sex. We have to you need to have all the other stuff. Last point I'm gonna make. Jordan Peterson. He's like man, I love listening to this dude. I can listen to him like all day. It's like hard to follow this dude sometimes because he's so smart. Jordan Peterson, right?
Yeah.
He said something about relationships one time. He said, it's not, if we can get the small things right, your marriage can be saved. But we're always worried about the big things, like, having the house or having the car or having like whatever the bigger things are. If you can get the small things right, like the way you greet your husband, the way you greet your wife, the way you smile at their appearance, the way you compliment, all these little things, because all those little things happen more times than even the other stuff, like the vacations and all that. You don't go on vacations 40 times a day, but you come into interaction with your spouse 40 times a day. Yeah. How is each of those interactions? So if you can like literally perfect those small interactions, again, my whole idea of just setting the environment right, making everyone comfortable, having communication, being all that stuff. If you can perfect those, everything will come and be good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I think sometimes I feel like I think too much.
It makes sense.
And I get kind of too like, hey, Elliot, relax. We're just trying to.
I think we're always looking for like the big moments in relationships.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Like, what's the next? Like you said, what's the next vacation? What's the next?
Yeah, like I'm bored.
What's the next dinner date? What's the next like XYZ? But it's like, I mean, majority of our life is in the small moments.
Exactly. And that's why I live for those small moments, man.
Mm-hmm. And if you can find somebody that you can, befriend in those small moments, and spouse that can be intimate with you. I'm not just talking sexually, but can be intimate with you in those small moments and can appreciate and have joy in those small moments with you. Then that's something that you definitely need to cherish. You won for sure. Yeah, you won.
Because it's even in those small moments with the Lord. Just those intimate, quiet moments. It's not like and then he'll finally bring you those big moments, like you finally, the thing you've been praying for finally happened. Yeah. And it's amazing. It is. But it's those smaller moments, man, where you really know him. That's good. I didn't ask you those questions. I don't know if you want to maybe table it or we can just go through it quick. Or you can just pick which one you want to answer. Because we're going for a while, huh? So it's 4 questions. One was, what regrets do you have about premarital sex? We kind of talked about that. If you could, I was going to say, if you could FaceTime your younger self at any specific moment in time and you knew you were about to mess up sexually, what is that time and what would you say? If you think of anything. Because I noticed, bro, like God has tried and he has like how the Bible says like all these temptations come, but God will give you a way out. Yeah, I literally have seen the way out. I'd be in moments and I'm like, God, give me the way out. And I'll see it and it'll be like, perfect, let's go. Bro, I remember, I don't want to talk about that.
You get so excited to talk about
it's because it's
the conviction hits you.
Yeah, because I'm like, I just want you guys to know this. I feel like I can't talk about this sometimes. I'm not married, but it's just what I did when I was in the world.
You feel like you're glorifying it or something?
I do, and I feel like I don't have a good way of communicating to show that I'm not. And I think like you know me, my girl knows me. Like, I don't know. I just worry sometimes, but this God's been giving me ways out. Like I'll just say one time, I was with somebody that met me at the bank, bro, and like. I didn't even know she had a kid, and her kid walked in like in the like middle, and it was like a whole thing. It was like perfect, my way out. Like there's all these little moments, and just even like you get a phone call or like, I'm not even gonna lie. I think you even like very very early on. I don't know if it was you or actually no, I don't think I knew you at the time. For this example, I don't know, but God gives you ways out. But what is a specific moment where you can like maybe call yourself and just say, hey, don't do that, if you can think of it? what is that time frame? And then what would you say?
I would probably say the first example that I gave of losing my virginity. Because even like from all aspects of it, I don't want to be like too graphic and I'm not trying to glorify it either, but from all aspects of it, it wasn't like good. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't good. She wasn't satisfied. Honestly, it was awkward. I felt, and this is the messed up part, I felt accomplished because it's like I accomplished the mission of getting on level with, not being like, oh, my girlfriend slept with, this dude. And I didn't even sleep with my girlfriend. So I felt like I accomplished the mission, but it was like there was more tension between us, not like good tension, but negative tension between us afterwards. So it was like all around. It is crazy.
That's crazy how that happens.
So it's
every
like
time.
all around. Okay, what did you do it for? For your pride because you accomplished the mission? Like, so it would probably be that moment. And I would be like, bro, like, first off, you not even finna be with this girl anyway. She don't like you like that. She gonna cheat on you anyway in a few months. Like, bruh, it ain't even worth your time. Second off, you heard about Jesus? Bruh, get close to that dude and wait till you're married. That's probably what I would have said. My hard-headed self at that time, I probably would have just went with my other head. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you probably would have listened to yourself, because if you picked up the phone call and it's you in the future, it's like, this is me. I think you would listen. So I think you would.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about. Like right now, like if I called myself and I, look like this, I'm older, got a goatee now and all that, and I'm like, what? Hey, it's me from the future. Don't do this. You gonna listen? I really think. I'm like,
I'm fly.
Right. Oh, dang, I'm kind of.
What, a car?
I got a car. I got a whip. I don't live with my mommy and daddy right now.
Oh, snap! All right.
Okay, I guess I ain't playing video games like all day no more. Bro, I would tell myself.
That was a good question.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I thought about it. Literally in my cubicle when I should have been working. For me, it would be the time. So I was dating this one girl, and we broke up, but then she wanted to get back together, and we were like kind of talking again. But I was kind of conflicted about getting back with her. But we started talking, but then I found out from someone else, this dude at the gym, who, he was actually, I wouldn't say he's my friend, but he would have been my friend in high school. But after I got into college, he was just someone I'd hit up to go to like party buses with, go downtown with, like a wingman. Like I would never talk to this dude. He was like, hey man, you free tonight? I got this, blah, blah, let's ride together. And we both just try to collect together, whatever. He had sex with her, and I introduced them together. And because I was like, and I helped her move, she was like in the same community complex as like the guy. And I was like, wait, my friend lives over here. So I introduced them. I was like, blah, blah. So this time, like, I don't know if she was unfaithful throughout the relationship. I don't think so. But we're not together anymore. Like, it's whatever. But I still was like hurt. And I was hurt two ways. One, you were like my friend, which he wasn't, but he was. And you only know her because of me. And you, girl, you think you really trying to what? When he told me, I reacted so out of pocket that I'm not even going to say what I did. You know what I did. I'll tell you about the story, huh?
I forgot.
I'll say it. I remember, how old was I? I must have been 19, maybe 20. I was at the gym. I'm hitting shoulders. I saw him at the gym. He was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, oh man, you think about going to the Navy? Like, he was about to leave, go to the Navy. He's like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing it, blah, blah. I was like, man, it's been a while since I've seen you, blah, blah. He said, what's up with you? I was like, oh man, I don't know. Like, what's the name? She trying to get back together again. He was like, oh, word? I was like, yeah, man, I don't know. And I respect him for telling me. So he's like, oh, I don't, okay, for sure. He left, and then I saw I had a missed call because I finished my set, and then I saw he called me back. I called him back, and he was like, what's up? He said, hey man, I just want to say, don't get back with her. And I was like, why? He's like, bro, we've been having sex. And I was like, the first instant, and this is my thing, bro. I don't know what it is about me. Like, I get so much peace when people tell me the truth. Like, I really just do. It's weird.
Yeah.
The first thing I said to him was, bro, thank you so much for telling me.
Wow.
Because 1, you didn't have to.
Yeah.
2, it's hard to.
Yeah.
3, like, you respected me enough as a man to tell me something that even though it was hard, you told me. This is why, bro, I'm telling you, I respect so much honesty and hard conversations and getting through stuff. I'm telling you, it makes every relationship perfect. I'm telling you. I said, bro, thank you. I wasn't his boy or nothing. Like, I was like, what? I said, thank you so much. There was nothing with him.
Yeah.
It was like, thank you for telling me. I left the gym. I called this girl. She didn't answer. I drove to her house. I'm on 40. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm on 48. Actually, no. I've never been this mad in my life. I was on like 5,000.
You finna choke her or something?
No. But I drove up. I was driving reckless. That was back when I had that 02 Accord, bro. Yeah, that little my baby. I pulled up to her house. I was like, skrr, like pull up kind of thing. This old lady, sweet old lady. She is like, young man. She's like, young man, you shouldn't be driving like that. Bro, I looked at her. I said, I'm not gonna say the word. I said, shut up. You don't know what is going on. I said, get back in the house. I was like,
Did
bro,
she get back in the house?
no, she was just like, I didn't expect that. Like, bro, I felt so disrespected. Like, you don't know what I'm dealing with. Like, kind of like with the whole dog thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Bro, I've never done this. And I've never. I know you. You probably like, what is it? I think I might have told you this before, but it's so out of character.
I remember now.
Okay, I banged on her door, and bro, this is her. She had a roommate, a gay roommate that I did not like, and I know he was in here because he would try to say, "Oh, Elliot's lame. He don't smoke weed. He don't pop pills. Like, what is that about? We should go out to these festivals and all that stuff." And she was like, "Oh no, I like him," and all stuff. And I knew he was in her ear, and I knew he knew about it, and I knew I knew he had to know about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you was talking about like it was gonna choke her. I literally had the mindset of going to him and literally like breaking this dude's every bone in his body. I was like, but no one opened the door, nothing. I called her. I left a voicemail. I was like, "You dirty!" Like it was bad, bro. It was bad. I said some foul things, and I'm telling your mama what a like, promiscuous woman you are. Like I said all this stuff that's like, I don't know why I've never would think that it was like I was like I was taken over. I was hurt. I was embarrassed. I was everything. I was lied to. I was deceived. All that. I went home. I lived with my parents. I went home. I sat in the dark, bro. I was in the living room. You laughing at my hurt, my pain? Nah, it's funny. I was sitting in the dark, bro. In my living room. I sat there. I just sat there. It had literally like probably 33 minutes went by. I'm sitting there like this and just like shocked. I'm just shocked. And my dad comes down. He turns the light on. And he looks at me. He's like, "The heck's wrong with you?" And I looked at him. And this is the first time I ever cussed in front of my parents. I cussed at that time. I've never cussed my parents. I looked at my dad. I said, "Daddy," I didn't cuss at him, but I said, "The B word ain't the S word." I said, "Daddy, it ain't. Yeah." And then he was like, "Well, I could have told you that." And I was like, that is not what I wanted to hear. But in my family too, bro, it was always tough love. Like in a way, it was love though. It was very, bro. I had so much love, but it was also tough love.
I could have told you that.
Like, he could have told you that. And I was like, I went home, bro, and I prayed. Then, I prayed to God. I said I wanted to die.
Wow.
I said, God, if this is what, because I was literally deceived.
Yeah.
And I was deceived. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Because, I was in a relationship with this person. So I was like, I was hurt. I probably, God, I don't want, like, I'm this pain. I want to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, but God, I pressed into him so much and he sustained me. It's so weird, bro. I woke up that next day and I felt like I was a brand new person.
Wow.
I can't believe it. It was just completely transformed. However, this is where I say to answer the question, if I can go back and FaceTime myself, and stop myself from doing something. From that moment, I've been literally God. Bro, I'm telling you, like, it's a miracle. God can literally change. Like, it's crazy. This girl was a coward, didn't say anything that whole next day, next couple of days. Then she texted me this long thing, apologized, all that stuff. Bro, she even later tried to, like, get back with me once I, again, I was not in the world. I mean, I was in the world, but then I started being on fire for the Lord, and her dad was a pastor and all that stuff. Like, she was like, oh my gosh, I messed up. Like, no. Again, I ain't no simp. But that's not to say you can't forgive. I forgive. And I forgive, but don't mean you got to just take them back. Like, no, you do what's best for you still.
Yeah.
And, see if, all that. But anyway, from that moment, I was literally like comforted by the Holy Spirit in a way that was literally like a 180. I've never had the greatest pain in my life, like not physically, but just inwardly.
Yeah.
Into now having the greatest like peace.
Wow.
It was so weird. To this day, I've never experienced really anything like that.
Wow.
But in that moment, what did I choose to do? I chose to be a dog. And that's where my dog season went. I got on Tinder, and I was always respectful, always treated people right, always made an environment like I was talking about to have girls be comfortable so they can give it to me and I don't got to ask, all that stuff. But it was all from a place of hurt, and then now the ball's in my court. I've been like cleansed, I've been redeemed, all that stuff. But now what did I do with it? And this is where we gotta remember to nurture our relationship with the Lord. I chose to go into the world while I'm also trying to battle my relationship with God, like trying to like grow in it. Knew nothing, bro, nothing. It's so crazy. But yeah, I turned to a dog. I met with so many people. I've had sex with so many people. I've, all this little worldly stuff, and all throughout it, it was like, this ain't fun. This ain't really it. But I'm getting some kind of like, my pride is back. My pride is back because I was hurt from some girl. It's crazy. So I can go back, FaceTime myself. I was like, Elliot, don't download that app. Crazy,
that was a
right?
Really good story.
Yeah, it's crazy. You would never expect that.
I mean, that's crazy what she did, for real.
That's crazy, right? You gonna try to get back with me knowing you did my friend?
Have you talked to her since?
No, yeah, I have actually. You know what's crazy?
Is she a
You know what's
Christian?
crazy? Yeah. You know what's crazy? So we went to church. You actually went to the church I went to. I saw her at church that next Sunday or whatever.
After you cussed her out?
After I did all that and then I spoke to her, I saw her and I went and sat right next to her.
Wow.
And she was floored by that. But I genuinely have a good way of like separating things. Like, okay, right now we're in the house of the Lord.
Yeah.
Like, ain't no you don't belong here. I belong here too. We all are sinners. We all fall short. We all come here. I'm not better than you or nothing. I go to my normal spot. She was there. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to sit there. I'm surprised she came to church. She's crying. And like, she obviously is like looking at it and like, I'm seeking God. I'm crying. I'm hurt. I'm blah, stuff, all this stuff. But I was like so fine. And then, but she did text me. She was like, I was so surprised that you were able to come and sit next to me. Like, you didn't have to do that and blah, blah. I'm like, why? The fact that you thought that do you not know what this is? This is a whole different thing. I'm with God and you're with God and we're all in this room. We all sinners and we all need God. Yeah. So even if you hurt me, I got to put that aside. And it was real though. I can't explain it. It was real. It's like, no, it's fine. Like it's cool. But yeah, it's crazy, bro. Wow. But yeah, we talked after that. I think even afterwards, like, cause she went, like she stayed in college. Like she's actually a doctor now. Like all this stuff. And, but I think we spoke probably like at least once before, and it's like, she apologized for that and all that, and it's like fine, that's all good, but just no, we're not ever, and it's not to say I ain't forgive you or nothing. It's just no, never. And so now obviously I'm gonna thank by the grace of God in a good relationship, and God willing that'll lead to something that can glorify Him. Yeah. But amen. But yeah, that's crazy story. We an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I gotta go to the bathroom, bro.
Dang. Okay, that's pretty much it. I was gonna also ask, what lies did you believe about yourself sexually as a young man? We talked about that a little bit. But also, what is Jesus saying to you about the kind of sex life He has for you? If you can think, we can maybe just table it if you gotta go to the bathroom, because I know when you go to the bathroom, you can't really think right. But Man, these dead roses. I mean, what's the name?
The dead palm trees.
Dead palm
I
tree.
know. I need to get a fake one. That one over there is fake.
Oh, that's good.
I need to get a fake one.
We can tell that.
Yeah, I gotta think about that, bro.
Okay, now it's good. We can just pray out.
Think about that. I've been holding it. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Dang, I feel you, bro. Let's pray out. Let's pray out.
All right, sounds good.
Oh man, Lord God, Lord Jesus, thank you so much for your faithfulness to us. Thank you, Lord, for your love that is outside of this world. Thank you for being a God that will never hurt us. Thank you for being a God that will redeem our hurt. Thank you for being a God of restoration, to care, to restore our lives, to even care about it. Thank you for being so intimate. Thank you for being so present. Thank you for allowing us to grow and trust you and grow in the knowledge of who you are. I thank you for all the moments that might be seemed as trials that people face in their lives, Lord, but they're opportunities of joy, opportunities to get close to you. I thank you for this conversation, Lord. I pray, Lord Jesus, that you plant the right seed that needs to be planted through the words that we placed. I myself, Lord, you know I fell short in the area of premarital sex. I know, Lord, that you have the covenantal right way of this institution of marriage to which that is supposed to be established, Lord. And I know it seems like it's hard to obtain. I pray, Lord, that you encourage each and everyone watching that it is something that is worth the wait because it's so powerful. I thank you for blessing us with the opportunity to even experiencing that type of physical relationship. I lift up my brother Nick, Lord. I pray peace over him. I lift myself to you as well, Lord. Bring peace over me. I lift up all the prayers of each and every one watching. I pray peace over those as well. I thank you for being a God of peace, Lord. I pray for peace over the land of Israel right now. As you see the trials that they're facing, Lord, it's unbearable. It's barbaric. It's horrific. Your children are being decapitated. I pray peace. I pray freedom. I pray restoration. I pray love. I pray salvation. I love you, Lord. I thank you for who you are. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
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 Episode 4 in the books.
Episode 4. Cuatro.
Yeah.
You know in French it's cat. It's already cat. You gonna look it up? You know I took French in high school and college, bro. You don't believe me? This dude don't believe nothing I say, bruh. You looking it up? It's not cat like C-A-T. It's called like cats. It's like pronounced that way.
4.
No, put it in French. The translation.
It's in 4. I mean,
You got it. You didn't.
4.
You didn't.
It's in French. I said 4 in French.
You gotta do it on the thing.
What you mean?
Give me your phone. This dude don't know.
It says English to French.
Okay.
4.
There you go. Cat.
Wait, hold on. Let me see. Let the people hear.
4.
Sound like cat, don't it? Yeah,
do
bro. You
sound
don't
like
believe
cat.
me.
It do sound
I took
like
French,
that.
bro. I'll be able to talk to my family, and I forgot it.
You wild,
Episode 4
bro.
on the books, yo.
You wildin', bro. All right, I gotta
man.
go to the bathroom, bro.
All right.
I'm sorry. Love y'all.